Hello beautiful and sexy people. So here I have 4 bullet journals. The first 3 are mine in the order that I've used them, and the last one is my best friend Rachel's. This is my first one ever. I didn't even know how to use a bullet journal or what a bullet journal was until my boss Casey got me this book and kind of showed me what it was and how to use it, and I am eternally grateful for that. So the first part is the index. You kind of number your pages and put them in there, and I never use the index. This is like the only time I actually have something written in that part of the book. And then I got this in March, and this is me trying to figure out how to use the monthly planner part. It's got the days on the side, like on the right side is kind of like goals and stuff. And then here is my day-to-day. I was experimenting with ways to kind of do my bullet points, not too sure if I should do squares, like if I should do triangles, check marks, X's. I included a thing about biking. You see the little water droplets at the top of this one. That was to track how much water I was drinking. I did that for a little while. Here's a YouTube idea that I had for a table. The table's currently sitting in my garage right now, not really doing anything. And then I've got a small little routine thing that I was trying to figure out. And that's kind of basically the end of the book for the most part. I have an outline on what to do for one of my walls in my living room. And that actually turned out well. I actually was able to finish that. And then I started experimenting with like outlines and borders, different types of fonts and cursive versus print, those kinds of things. Some variations on exercise charts, and that was kind of the end of it because that book had gotten a lot of water damage and most of the pages that I actually was using got ripped out. And then I had gotten this journal as my replacement for the last one. And a big thing for me was having a journal that had at least 30 lines going down. I tried to use the index again in this one, stopped after a while, used the washi tape a little bit more, got a little bit more creative with that. This is a future log. I didn't have it in the last one, but I do really like it. It enables you to put like birthdays and big events, things that are coming up, graduations, stuff like that. So I restarted this book with March, and then I jumped into some of my hours. I was working at 2 flower shops at the time, working a lot. So I was able to keep track of my hours, and then I lost my book and I wasn't able to keep up with that. So that's why that stopped. I have some career choices. I've got some floral spending charts. I've got a journal, some different things that are in here. I have my June monthly month planner thing. It's pretty cool. Some notes, some passwords, some Google CrossFit goals and school to-dos, things like that, when my tests are. This is the day-to-day ones that I started off with, and this is the first month where I really started committing to doing the bullet journal. I had started school and I started CrossFit on this month, so I used it literally like every single day until I lost it. I tried to do a June tracker. I don't know if you guys have heard of trackers, but they're pretty cool. If you use them, that is. And then after that, I kind of lost the book. I left it at a friend's house and there's nothing else in there, so I had to start up a new journal. With this journal, I started it off with the future log. I don't like how I did it at all. I think it looks bad, but there's always room for improvement. And then I have July. This one was fun to put together. I was started to be a little bit more creative, a little bit more artsy with them. And then my dailies, it took me a while after I got the new book to kind of get back into the swing of opening my book every single day and writing in it and putting a journal, writing my CrossFit workout, putting my to-dos, things like that. So as you can see, like I slowly kind of get more and more detailed with it. At this point, I kind of just do a square and I fill in the square once I've completed the goal, instead of doing your traditional bullet journal method, which is like a cross and X or a bunch of other different things. This is my current tracker for August, trying to keep up with it, and my August monthly one is a little bit more messy than my previous ones. I've got a couple of vacations in there, but I do start going back with my monthly a lot more, using the to-dos and like my checklist a lot more than I have in the previous months, just because I have a little bit more free time than I used to. And then I went ahead and I put in the days for the rest of the month, and also for September I have a September tracker. I got a couple of my tests in there, but other than that, I think that I would change how much room I have for each day. I think I would make it half a page for each day instead of just a third of a page, just because there's a lot that I'd like to stick in there. This is a squat tracker. I've got the day on one side and then the pounds and the quantity on the top. I have my max weight and a CrossFit log, just some things that I like to keep track of so I can see my progress. And I have those in the back marked with little washi tape tabs, so that way it's just easier for me to reference and find. Hello! I'm Rachel, and this is my bullet journal. I'm taking over this video. It's mine now. So I wrote this little intro when I got the journal, as I do with many things, because I'm very sentimental about things sometimes, and kind of like to pretend I'm a writer. This is the very basic index, standard bullet journal stuff. It's not actually that useful for me personally, and I'll tell you why later. As you can see, I've got a lot of blank pages. I originally used a similar future log to Heather's, and I had a lot of trouble keeping up with this, just because of me, not because it's the bullet journal. Mostly I used it to write down my work schedule, which can be really crazy, but also for ideas like gaming on YouTube, because why not? And, you know, how to help my mom set up for the chili cook-off, which she totally should have won. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. And once again, my very ridiculously busy work schedule. I write a lot of journal entries, a lot of ideas, which are what you can go back and put in your index. That's really what that's most useful for. And then I have this weekly overview, which really didn't work because, as you can tell, there's only 6 things on each view thingy, and it just is awkward, super weird. So I didn't like it. I did something better later. Also, I have a lot of watermarks, a lot of mess in this, but you know, it's fine. That's life. So I started planning for my new journal. I did a really quick kind of event schedule for June just to keep it written down, and then I had my fresh start. Here's my 2016 overview calendar. I've got the last 6 months, just very simple with important dates. And my bullet journal key. Very, very easy. Symbols for, you know, different types of tasks. And I started a habit tracker, which hopefully will help me just keep track of my habits, obviously. How often I do things, good habits, bad habits, all kinds. And for the weekly overview, I went with clean lines. You can see all 7 days each week, plus a space for notes. And I also write my thoughts and gratitudes, just little things that I want to remember. You can see on my monthly view, I divide each page into work and personal, and I use washi tape to denote which pages are for monthlies. This is much easier than the index for me. More thoughts and gratitudes. I have had a lot of thoughts this month. And this week, see
how many things I've migrated, as my schedule is always changing, my availability is always changing. But that's what's great about the bullet journal. It keeps you accountable, and there are endless possibilities. Bye! Bye!